All right, welcome back to Stumbling Forward, and I'm one of your hosts, Kristen Herman, and
I'm Monica Ortega.
Awesome. Today we're speaking to Maurine Herman. Maurine Herman is actually my sister-in-law, which is very exciting. She's actually one of the most hardworking women I know because she has her own business called Momos Cheesecakes. Maurine is a mom of two, soon to be three, young kids who started a cheesecake business in 2015 out of her home that has grown into a food truck and will soon open into a storefront. She believes strongly in a balanced life and knows the most important thing in life is people and relationships. She prides herself in helping people connect and get joy from her delicious cheesecakes. Thank you for joining us, Maurine.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm really excited too. Well, why don't you just start with where you're from and how you got started in Momos Cheesecakes?
So I am out in Utah. So that's where my business is. I came out here for college, so I've been here for like 12 years. And it kind of was an accident. I wasn't planning on starting a business. I wasn't like into baking really big or anything. So it kind of just by happen chance, I kind of discovered a talent that I didn't even know I had. So I was actually with Kristen's mom, Ellen, and she asked me to make a cheesecake for a party we were having in Chicago. And my family loves cheesecake, so I was actually really excited. And so I made the cheesecake, and it turned out like so good. Like, not to brag, but like I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
I was actually there for that, and it was really good. I was there for the first cheesecake.
So then we were in Chicago and my family's in Utah, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to make this. My dad loves cheesecake. So I was like, I'm making this for my dad. My whole family's going to love this. So I came home and started making cheesecake, started trying different flavors, and it just like, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it's just something I have a talent for. And at the time, as a stay-at-home mom, I mean, my baby was only like 9 months old, but going from like normal life, real life, working to being a stay-at-home mom is a really different transition, and I don't think people realize it, but having cheesecakes at that time, like, it was like a creative outlet and a way for me to do something for myself, and so it really helped me a lot, and so I've loved it.
I feel like that's so awesome. That's such a balance that you hear about too, is like that transition into motherhood and how do you keep that creative side of yourself. And that's really cool that you just sort of fell into something that you're naturally good at as well.
Yeah, I feel really lucky that I found it, because I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't. So
what was the first like big cheesecake, the first flavor that you're like, I'm gonna make this one, or your favorite, if you want to say that?
So I think when I was in Chicago, I made that was October. So like the next holiday was Thanksgiving. So we did a pumpkin cheesecake, and it was so good. I love pumpkin.
Nice.
And so to have it in like a cheesecake form, it was super good. And actually, like, right at the same time, I made the caramel apple crumble, and that's probably my number one favorite flavor.
That's so good.
So like what moment, like when did it hit you that you could make money at this, that it wasn't just you baking for fun, that you could actually do something with this?
I wish I could remember like more clearly what happened, but I mean, it was really soon after. I mean, I made the first one in October, and by November I was like, I think I want to like do this and like offer it to people. So I don't know if my family would just encourage me or what it was, because I don't feel like I'm like an entrepreneur at heart. It's not something like, I'm actually really shy, and like talking to people is hard that I don't know. And so just like, I guess when I think of entrepreneurs, I think of people who are like really outgoing and are just like go-getters and go for it. And so I guess I just didn't see myself in that way. But I think that, one, I really believed in my product, and two, I guess I believed, that people would want this. And so I decided to just go for it. And I mean, I knew it was going to be small. It was just out of my home when I had extra time, because I was, had a baby and all that. So
that's awesome. That's really exciting. So where did the name Momos cheesecakes come from?
So my name is Maurine, and it's like a common nickname for Maureen's to be Mo. Like that's something that I don't know where that came from, but anyway. So when I was born, my grandpa started calling me Mo because that's like a nickname, and my dad didn't like it. I don't know why, but he came up with Momo, and he did like that. And so since I was a baby, my nickname has been Momo, at least like within my family and stuff.
So Momos Cheesecakes, and there it was. Very nice. That's awesome. I actually didn't really know that story of why it was Momo, and I didn't know that it was a nickname for Maureen, so that's good to know.
That was my softball name, was Momo.
Really?
Yeah.
It was just randomly, and someone's just like, Momo?
For Monica, people call me Mo or Mon as well. And so
maybe
softball,
it's just
they were like, that became a thing.
Well, I had a friend in high school. Her name was Morgan, and she went by Mo too, so I don't know.
Maybe it's just an M names get Momos. I don't have a nickname. But anyway. Can I be Momo too? I'm kidding. So very, very cool. So how did it come into this food truck? So you had it in your basement and then you kind of just expanded recently, or when did you expand?
Yeah, so 2015, and then last year was 2019. So for like almost 4 years, I was doing it just out of my house. And I was starting to get a little bit more known, got a couple like wedding orders, which are like bigger, obviously, and like doing wedding cakes. And so I do like little ones. So I have like little cups. And so like people order, a couple hundred. I think one time I did like 600 for a wedding. And so I knew that like I could do more, but it's hard when you're like in your kitchen. So my dad was like, have you thought about like expanding and doing this? And it's something I had thought about, but I just wasn't really sure because so at that time, 2019, I have the second child. So I have 2 kids. And then my husband also, he owns a business. And so he owns a gym. And so that takes up a lot of our time and energy too. And so it just was kind of like, I don't know if that's, is that realistic to take on? But my dad said, I want to be your business partner. I want to help you. My dad got his MBA and he is a businessman. And so I felt that I had enough support that it's something that I could try. And so, last summer in August, it's been almost exactly a year, my dad got a huge RV, like a 1970s RV, gutted it and built a kitchen for me and built a food truck for me. So it's been, almost a year since I started the food truck.
I've got to say, knowing your dad, he is handy. He just knows how to build literally anything.
It's true.
He can just and he doesn't even, he's like, oh, I've never done it before, but I got it. And then
he'll go on YouTube and watch like one video and he's like, okay, I can do that.
I think it's so interesting that like you don't think of yourself as an entrepreneur, but the reality is you are. I mean, you started a business, and it's funny that you're married to somebody who also has a business and your dad's now involved, and it's this very like entrepreneurial family now.
Yeah. It's, I don't know why, but it's weird.
And it is exciting being like, I am not like, like you said, it's like an entrepreneur might seem like the person that's outgoing and can talk to anybody, and like being like an introvert, maybe you don't feel that way, but you can, like, you talk to people through your cheesecakes, which is amazing, and it's like, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, I feel like another big thing is like, I feel like entrepreneurs are like risk takers, and that's not something that I like think of myself as. I like to be like very planned and organized. I know exactly what's coming. And so I think that, that was like another thing to accept. I don't know, like when we opened the gym, that was a big deal for us to say, we're not going to do the traditional route. We're not going to have my husband work like a full-time job and also home with the kids, but that we're going to like try this and go for it. So that's been something I've had to learn to be better at.
So on that note, kind of like what mistakes did you make on the journey that you feel like you can share that maybe would help somebody else?
Um, let's see. I don't know if this is okay if I can talk about maybe like some mistakes other people make that I feel like
Yeah, totally.
I can help with doing right. So something about my parents, they're very frugal. They don't like to spend money. And they're also very much do it yourself. Like my dad has always fixed our cars, done our oil changes, and just like that type of mentality, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that for some people, like when they're ready to start a business, they're like, okay, I'm going to take out a huge loan, $100,000. I'm going to get a brand new store. It's going to be new everything. And like go like all in, go big. And I feel like something that I've really learned is that for me, it's been really great going like small step by step. And so like with the food truck, we didn't like buy a brand new food truck that cost like over $100,000. My dad built it. And like, obviously I have an advantage that my dad's able to do that. But I do think that there are things that everyone can do, like buying used. There's still really great like equipment that you can get from like bakeries that are shutting down. Like I bought all my ovens used. They're still great. And like buying fridges from different places. Like, so it's just like, you don't have to go out and pay top dollar for everything. You can still really find really good quality things so that you're just not pouring tons of money in when you don't need to. And then also, yeah, just with, like I said, going step by step with like being in the home and then just doing a food truck. And now like we're doing well enough with a food truck and making enough that we're ready to start working on a storefront. And we have like the money to do that we don't have to invest huge amounts of money. Like we will have to put some in, but like we already have an established business. We like have a proof of concept. So I feel like confident in doing that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that that's smart. Yeah, it's smart to take your time and to put your money where it's supposed to, where it's going to help you the most. So like you were saying, if you can buy something used that is still in good shape, do it, you know, and then if you need to buy something new, then it's like, at least you can have those resources there and you're not just spending your money on everything that you don't need. That's really smart. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would call myself a very cautious entrepreneur. Like,
that's why it's successful too. Is it's like you said, so many people go in and they just want to spend the money on the biggest and the best because they think that that's going to help. But the truth is, you need to make sure it's going to work first and then build up to those things. So it sounds like you've done everything right on that path, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried. I mean, obviously there have been trial and error, and you know, when you're doing certain things yourself, you do have to like learn. Like we got a water heater that wasn't the right size, didn't work out. We learned that, we figured that out, had to get a new one. So I also feel like there's a lot of people who do want to help, who have like information and knowledge, who are willing to help if you're asking for it. So like reaching out to other businesses, reaching out to other food trucks. I think people are happy to say, you know, let me give you some of the things I learned so that you learn from their mistakes and you don't make the same ones. And that's really helped me talking to other business owners too.
That's awesome. Yeah. So where do you see Momos in 5 years?
I don't know, like me and my dad, when we'll talk about it, his dreams are like out in the sky and mine are like, well, let's just try this. So maybe somewhere in between. So yeah, we're working to open a storefront actually in just a few months. So I would like that to obviously be successful.
That's so exciting.
I would really like to open a storefront in Salt Lake just because that's a whole nother customer base that I haven't really got to go to as much. And I do think that it would be successful there too. So I think in 5 years, I'd like to have 2 stores and hopefully both of them doing well.
Salt Lake City, obviously, you know, being, you know, everyone likes to go to Salt Lake City when they go to Utah. Tourists, you know, they will love cheesecakes, especially the bite-sized ones. It's so easy and it's so small. Yeah. And it's just like a little snack.
Where are you located right now? Like how far outside of Salt Lake?
So I'm in Orem. The store will be in Provo. It's about like a 45-minute drive from Salt Lake. So it's like not terrible. I actually do have people who will come down because they love my cheesecakes. But I think there's a lot of people who don't want to make the drive, so they haven't tried them. And if it was in Salt Lake, they would.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what kind of advice do you have for somebody else that maybe wants to get into like the bakery business?
One thing that I learned from one of my friends, she actually also owns a food truck. She does cakes though, and like other type of bakery stuff. Something that she's taught me that I'm trying to be better at is, and I think this is true for any entrepreneur, is to really value yourself and value your time and talents. I think that it's easy to say like, well, I'm just starting, like I'm a nobody, and like to like really like have your prices like really low, or to like bend over backwards to like accommodate people when it's like not good for you, because you feel like I really want this business to be successful, so I have to say yes to everything and I have to like make everyone happy. And like, yes, you do need to accommodate when it's within like what's healthy for you and what's good for you. And I really do feel strongly like you need to have prices that are fair, that people will still pay, but also that it's worth your time and your effort, because I feel like people, just want cheap. But like if you're like a baker and an artist, you're putting in a lot of time and effort to do these things. And so that is something I'm trying to be better at.
It's hard. It's hard to, you want to just get the business, and you're scared to like, at least, I mean, I'm scared sometimes to tell someone like, this is what I charge. And it's because you don't want to be turned down. You don't want them to be like, oh, well then never mind, and it's like, that hurts. But you have to like be strong and know your worth. And that's really good advice. Yeah.
Right. Because I do think there are people who will pay. So there are people who are like, well, no, that's too expensive, and like that's fine. But there's plenty who will pay because they will see the value in your work.
Mm-hmm. That's probably the biggest lesson I've had just within the last year. I think the first 4 years of my stuff, I was losing money because I just wanted people to hire me. And then it wasn't until I actually took a look at the numbers, I went, this isn't actually working. So that's great advice. Yeah. Do that from the beginning.
Had some similar. We've had some similar stuff with the gym. It's just like, it's hard to value yourself, to be like, no, I am worth it.
Yeah.
So,
what would you say to someone then, like when they say like, well, what do you like, how do we value ourselves? Like, how do I value myself? Like, how do I, create those numbers? Or what would you say to someone if they said that,
I think that it's obviously different with every industry. And so like with a gym, it's been different than with cheesecakes, but it is helpful to look at your area and what other people are charging. And then it is helpful to have, I don't know, if you have the business mindset, or someone who does, who can look at the numbers and say, you have to do this much to pay all the bills and for you to make a certain amount of money. Like if you're working 10 hours a day and only getting paid a couple dollars an hour, like it's just not worth it. Like, the business is surviving, but like what quality of life are you going to have? And so for me, it's been looking at, obviously the cost of all the ingredients, the time that it takes me to do everything, and then comparing. But I feel like the biggest thing of all is just like feeling like it's worth it. And so I do think that some businesses, like in the beginning, it's like, okay, I know I'm going to struggle. I know that I'm going to be like losing money the first year or whatever it is. But I think like as long as you have like a time frame where you're like, okay, the first year I'll be losing, the second year I need to be making a certain amount by the third. Like as long as you have like a timeline where you're like, I can scrounge and have a hard time for a certain amount of time, but you're not going to do it forever.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to survive not making money and being worried about money constantly for 10 years, for 30 years. Like you're not going to be happy.
To have a plan and have the goals and stuff. That's
right.
Being realistic.
Right. And as long as you're getting like close to that and you feel good, I feel like it's okay to be losing money, but you don't want to do that forever.
Awesome. Well, where can people find you? First of all, do you deliver? I don't know that make it.
Do you do freeze and then hard press and then deliver to Chicago?
We're actually
you just have to drive 12 hours. That's all they are, Monica. Just drive 12 hours, pick a MoMo, and then come back.
That's the next thing I really do want to do is being able to ship them, because I know that people do it, like Cheesecake Factory ships them, so it's like possible. So that's something that we're looking into, because I have a cousin and she's in Portland, and she's like, okay, when are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do this? Because she wants them. So it definitely is on my list. Right now the focus is the store, so I told my dad, like, the next step, I'd really love to be able to ship and to make that possible for everyone to be able to try it.
I wonder if there is a vendor out there that you can work in relation to, like, to ship, and that will, I guess they'd have to put it on dry ice, kind of like Lumalnati's does.
Yeah.
Chicago. Yeah, something like that, where they would send it over. But yeah, that's definitely an exciting thing if you can ship, because I would like a cheesecake. Thank you.
Well, how do people find the food truck? Like, do you have like a social media page? Like, how do they track where it's going to be, or is it always in the same location?
Yeah, so Instagram is like the main source of where we are. That's where we do all our information, marketing, all that type of thing. It's linked to Facebook, so Facebook still gets the information, but I found that Instagram now it's more popular. That's where more people are. So we have all that. And then we also, it's at MoMo Gourmet Cheesecake. So my business name is Momos Gourmet Cheesecake.
Okay.
And so my is MoMo Gourmet Cheesecakes. And you'll see a little peach logo. So that's my logo. It's a peach. And so if you see the peach, that's me. And then I also have a website, and so people can go there. I don't keep like my truck updated, like where we'll be on there, just because it's constantly changing. But Instagram is really the best place.
Is it on your story? Should they just follow the Momos Gourmet Cheesecakes on your story, and then it will be where you are? Like, you'll just keep that updated, or is it or anything else?
Yeah, so I have a social media marketing director, and so she's actually over everything. She's really great about she does it on both stories and posts, so kind of wherever you look, you should be able to find the information. We try to do Mondays, we announce flavors, and then Tuesday we'll announce truck schedule, because every week I try to have different flavors. And then truck schedule, it's usually the same, so people kind of know where to find us. But if we have events, we'll tell them, different cities we'll be at, different times. But yeah, she's really great about keeping that updated. And then there's also lots of information that we try to keep about, like, the cheesecakes, how to cut them, how to store them, how long they last.
Oh, it's awesome.
That is awesome.
Cheesecake's a hard thing.
It is. It's hard. Yeah. Is it easier to order on your website, or is it easier to order anywhere else?
Yeah, the website's really great because we have it set up to where it's like build your own cheesecake. So you get on, you pick your crust, you pick your flavor, you pick your toppings, and
that's
you
awesome.
Create your own flavors. So I try to make it really user friendly. If people have questions, they're welcome to email me or DM me, so I can help you through that. But like, really, I have loved being creative with the cheesecake. So people come up with flavors, and I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. Let's do it. And so it's a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
So cool. We're definitely going to link to all of those things so that people can check it out. And then I'll be super jealous that I can't get it yet. I'll have to drive through.
You honestly will have to try it, because I can vouch, one of the best cheesecakes.
Hey, next road trip.
It's so good. We're stopping and getting a cheesecake. So which one, what is the berry one? It's like with all the berries on top. What's that one called?
So that's the triple berry.
Triple berry. Mm-hmm. Get that one. It's
good. Really pretty. People love it.
And it's also yummy. So, well, thanks so much, Maurine, for being on the show. Yeah, and I'm really happy. This was amazing.
It's been a really fun adventure to try to figure it all out. And so I appreciate you guys being interested.
Well, like I said, we're going to link to everything below so that you guys can check out her cheesecakes as well. And if you're listening, please give us 5 stars and a review wherever you're listening. We're also going to be putting the video up on YouTube so you can check us out there. So thank you again, Maurine. I'm one of your hosts, Monica Ortega.
And I'm Kristen Herman.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.